And it's important you stay on top of your tire maintenance. Make sure you're safe on the roadways. Here to give us some tire maintenance tips as we head into wintertime, KUSI auto expert Dave Stahl and the store manager of Discount Tires, John Toombs. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here.
Our pleasure.
We were just talking, there is a big difference between summer and winter when it comes to tire pressure.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, tires are probably about the most unspoken about product on your car, and people take it seriously for granted. I mean, you're only talking a patch like that and like that when you're flying down a freeway at 70 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So tell us about these wonderful tires.
So here's your obvious worn out tire, but with an excessive alignment wear to it.
Now, why would you call that an alignment problem?
Inside edge of the tire is completely worn off, and you got good edge out here. That's an indicator that you have an alignment issue with the car.
And the problem is, if this is on the inside, and you look at your tires on the outside, you go, oh, well, shoot, my tires are just fine. You got to literally turn the wheel
Turn that front
and look
wheel.
at that whole tread pattern.
Look at that all the way through. Here you got a tire that's about halfway worn down, and that was run flat because a light came on and someone just ignored it. But you can see this tire didn't have a lot of tread left on it. So
And those
there
are
you go.
wear bars. Explain these
Wear bar.
little bumps.
These little bumps are here. That basically is the last point you can get to with the worn out tire where it really doesn't have much traction left.
And the other thing that's interesting, too, a highway patrolman can follow up behind you, and these little wear bars act like almost like an oscilloscope.
Really?
And he can actually see this flashing on the tire while you're going down the road. So if he pulls you over and says you got a bad tire, you got a low tire,
Wow.
they can actually
I
see
did
that.
not know that.
Specifically in the rain that we're having, rain channels through the water as you're driving down the highway. So as that goes down, that definitely what is causing it to hydroplane, because you don't have the grooves that are pushing the water away, evacuating the water. And these little lines here get that tread down on the road. As you look at a new tire and you compare it to, you can see how deep those grooves are. And these little cuts in the tread are a lot deeper, and they'll squeegee the tire down onto the road and give it good traction.
But when
you hit
this
the brakes.
tire gets down to as low as this tire, those little beads will pop right up. You just
Yep.
don't see them in this one.
Yeah, they're just buried deep in there.
Right.
You don't see them.
And then what about the penny tests for people that want to do it
For
themselves?
the novice, you can put your penny in there, head down, upside down, and that'll give you the little indication a little bit about where the tread is at.
Right.
Use
but
Abe
also-
Lincoln's head, right?
Lincoln's head.
Yeah, the top
But
of his
also
head.
the tire guy, if you stop by and see him, go by Discount Tire, they'll do a free air check and we'll examine the tires. We measure it with a tread depth gauge, and that will give you the 30 seconds left on the tire and get you down. And then as that wears away, that becomes red for us, and that's a good indicator that
Yeah.
you need tires.
You don't have to measure it. As soon as you see red, that you're in trouble.
Yeah.
And not being a plug or anything, but Discount Tires checking tire pressures right as we speak. In
As
fact,
we
you
speak.
boys were in pouring down rain last night
Yes.
checking tire pressure and tire condition, because 70 mile an hour, 80 mile an hour, next thing you know, if you're off slipping and sliding, that's your family.
Let's talk about the pressure now that we're getting into the colder months. What can we expect?
So into the colder months, you're going to probably get up in the morning, get in your car, you're going to turn it on, the light's going to be on.
Yep.
It says tire pressure.
Yep.
Or something of that nature. And a lot of that cold temperature makes the pressure drop a little bit. So you got to just check that more frequently, especially in the wintertime, because once you drive the car, the tires will warm up a little bit, and a lot of times that light will go off. If it doesn't, then you need to get to somewhere to get that tire checked, because you may have a low tire.
And a lot of people don't realize, like, if all three of us decide we're going to go to San Francisco, say, for a baseball game, and we jump in a car, we check all the tire pressures, and it's exactly where it needs to be. We drive to San Francisco, get out of the car, and check that tire pressure immediately. It'll gain, what, 2-3 pounds maybe?
2-3, yeah. If you're in the desert or something like that, it'll go
And
up
it'll
as high
go
as
up.
Yeah.
5 or 8 pounds.
Then we all go home, we go to bed, we get up the next morning and drive back, and we check the tire pressure, and it might be a half a pound low.
Right.
From what it was when we left San Diego. Why? Because these are porous tires, no matter what anybody says. And when they expand and contract, they lose air. So if you don't check your air about once a month, there could be a good possibility within 7,000 miles, you're down rolling around on 20 pounds of air.
Sure.
And you always want to check that pressure, tire cold.
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 And
Always
where
check
do
it
you
cold.
get the correct tire pressure number?
On the door placard, open the door, usually the driver's door, and right there's a sticker on the door
Right.
post that'll tell you
Good
what the
to know.
pressure's supposed
Exactly.
to be.
All right. Well, that's
And then,
good.
Last but not least, if it turns out somebody put aftermarket tires on your car, you know, after you bought it.
Sure.
If that door placard may not work, you can always look on the sidewall of the tire. It'll give you the tire pressure. And another thing too, if somebody's selling you this tire for $9.99, you might want to check the birth date on this tire.
Really?
Do you know they all have birthdays?
I did not know that.
So you can find out if somebody's trying to sell you a set of tires that are older than dirt just by looking at the date on the tire.
Yes.
All right.
What other little tip have you got?
Got your air pressure, check the spare.
Yeah.
If you're going to travel.
Sure.
Stop by. Pull the spare out and get a look at that thing.
Yeah.
All right.
Take a
Good
look at
advice all the way around. Dave,
All right,
John,
buddy.
thanks a lot.
Okay,
Appreciate you
guys.
coming in.
Yeah.
Good info. All right. We'll be right back with more Good Morning San Diego.